It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Oh, we made it to a Friday.
Woohoo!
Oh, all right.
And it's now President-elect Trump.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true. President-elect Trump.
Yeah.
You ready?
All right. I'm ready.
Are you ready? This ad did not work for Democrats. The one that threatened me. The one where Will Ferrell threatened me. This was one of the closing ads.
Yeah, I love it.
For Harris. We're not joking. This was an ad. We played it earlier this week. It's one of their closing ads. And he attacks me. You go, what are you talking about? Well,
That's true.
Just listen.
This election is going to be one of the closest in history. Your vote will make the difference. That means you, Gary. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm just one person. No. Shut the up, Gary. Last time, only a few thousand votes kept Trump out of office. And this time, we will hold you personally responsible, Gary. Don't forget to vote, Gary.
Now, my sources.
Oh, my gosh.
My sources.
Yes.
That I'm making up just for this bit tell me it was actually about you. Gary McNamara. Gary.
Well, he's holding me personally responsible, and I am shaking like a leaf.
By the way, responsible, is it responsible to put that kind of message? I know it's Will Ferrell, and everybody's giggling. Oh, hey, look, it's Will Ferrell. Look, it's Elf. But you have to take into account the serious nature of where the left has been when it comes to Donald Trump. We're going to hold you personally responsible?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Is that a message you want to be putting out?
All right. Now, I still don't understand the Gary thing.
I do.
Okay.
I paid him a lot of money.
What is
to
it?
Put your name in it.
What is it? Is Gary like?
I don't know.
Is Gary like the new Karen, but for a male? Is that what?
I don't.
I've not figured out the Gary part of it.
I don't know.
Unless he was directing it towards me.
Well, was it that it just needed to be odd?
It needed to be weird.
Weird, because it's Will Ferrell. I guess that's what I took from it, but it still kind of had, I don't know. It's Will Ferrell. So
I don't know what the hell's going on. It's Will Ferrell. All right, let's play. We didn't play the full audio cut. You want to play? You want to go to the View from yesterday?
What am I supposed to say here? Yes, I want to go to the View.
Yes, Eric.
Sure, Gary. Yeah, Gary. I want to listen to audio from the View, Gary.
And finally, we talk a lot about these different demographics and these assumptions of where they're going to go. Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border.
It's
the border
misogyny.
crisis is on their doorstep. And they were begging people to care about it for years. We need to take some lessons.
That's what that was.
The lessons are not
Knock,
misogyny.
knock. Who's there? Oh, my gosh, it's Whoopi.
All of them. Every one of them said misogyny.
Yep.
Everyone said that is the most. That is. I hate to say it. I wish it wasn't happening, but we have been waiting for this moment since I've been talking about identity politics. Late 90s, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. Right.
When it first came out, when the modern identity politics movement started.
By the way, to the point that the ladies at the View bring up, let me double check this. Most, if not all, of the border counties went for Trump in Texas. Valverde County, which is Del Rio, Uvalde, Trump, 63%. Kamala Harris, 36%. The one they're referring to, Kenny County, just south of Valverde County. I think that's Eagle Pass. I don't know if Eagle Pass is. I have to double check that. And shame on me. I lived in Del Rio for a long time. But Kinney County is just south of Valverde on the border. Donald Trump, 75%. Kamala Harris, 24%.
And that was and the whole point was, I don't know if she brought it up, but somebody else brought it up, that they went for Hillary Clinton back a few years ago.
Oh, Kenny did okay. I know that Valverde County went for Trump in 2020, but I think in 2016, I think Valverde went for Hillary, actually. Because in 2020, I remember the story being Valverde went red for the first time in, I don't know, years. So I think they both went. I'll double check that, but I think they were both blue in 2016.
But it was the emphasis that, because I've said I've been waiting this almost my entire talk radio career,
Gary,
where everyone is a racist. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter whether you're black. Everybody is racist and sexist, whether you're black, as long as you're a man.
Yeah. Right.
And then what about the women?
Well, they said misogyny for 75%. They said 75% for Trump in this one county on the border in Texas. That's misogyny, and so I guess self-misogynist when it comes to women, and because look, maybe their lawyers can explain to you and I what they actually meant, but that's what it sounds like. They're going after the entire county, or 75% of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they're going after anybody who voted for Trump. So now blacks, Hispanics, whites, everyone is racist. Everyone is sexist. If you don't agree with voting for idiots.
Yep.
And if you do not wish to vote for an open border, you're a sexist, misogynist, racist.
Yeah.
If you do not wish to vote for massive inflation caused by government policy, you are a sexist, a racist, and a misogynist.
And don't you forget it.
If you don't wish to vote for men playing women's sports, you are a sexist, racist, misogynist, and transphobic. Got to add another one in there. If you are not for men invading women's private spaces and exposing themselves to women, if you're not for that, you are a racist, sexist, misogynist, transphobe.
Right?
That's according to the women of The View. Now, was it just the women of The View? Let's take a little look. A little trip around to see what's been going on at the insane mainstream media.
Why didn't this work?
We're still unpacking what exactly happened.
Some of this is pure racism and misogyny.
White supremacist ideology. Uneducated white women.
Nostalgia for a past that didn't exist.
The headwinds of the economy.
Misinformation.
The patriarchy.
The American people have given up on democracy.
Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
How much of this is just old-fashioned sexism? How much of this is just old-fashioned misogyny?
It's misogyny from Hispanic men. It's misogyny from black men. Not enough people in this country yet believe in the full equality of women.
Among Hispanic men and black men, there's a lot of misogyny.
Might be race issues.
Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not.
A lot of Hispanic voters have problems with black candidates.
I don't put sexism and racism past the United States. I think that for some people that was a factor.
The short answer is the sexism, the misogyny, the racism that is so unquantifiable.
Anyone who has experienced or been in the United States for any period of time cannot have believed that it would be easy to elect a woman president, let alone a woman of color.
Who are we as a country? And we're starting to find out. And from what I'm seeing right now, I'm not sure I'm I like it.
What I'm seeing
I'm
right
not
now?
sure I like
Are you
it.
asking a question? What I'm seeing right now? Wow.
Meanwhile, very, very quickly, some Democrats are having a change of heart on transgender issues, saying that the party's pandering to identity politics is hurting the ballot box. And they talk about two representatives from one from New York and one from Massachusetts. Each noted the success of Donald Trump and the Republican Party had with ads on biological males competing in women's sports, and said their own party was partly to blame. The Democrats have to stop pandering to the far left. Well, you guys voted for it.
Right.
I don't want to discriminate against anybody, but I don't think biological boys should be playing in girls' sports. Well, the only reason you're taking that position is because you're losing now.
Exactly.
But you don't actually believe that.
Right.
Or you did believe it and you just voted because you're afraid of your own party. And if you're afraid of your own party, you should quit.
Yep.
Or quit the party. I don't mean quit. You can become an independent. You can become a Republican, whatever. But, yeah, isn't that great now? The Democrats, for the Democrat media, have finally gotten what they've wanted.
Yep.
The liberal media. Full equality/equity.
Yay!
Everyone's
is now included.
It's inclusive
It's
now.
inclusive.
Everyone is a racist. Everyone is a bigot. Everyone is misogynist. Everyone is sexist.
Yep.
Everyone. They have finally got what they wanted.
Right. I love it. I love it.
Oh, my.
By the way,
Gosh.
Eagle Pass is in Maverick County because I was going over the counties in Texas because the View, I'm really interested in what the View thinks. All of the border counties in Texas, except 2, went for Trump. All of them but 2. And the 2 that did not were up. One was El Paso County.
I was going to say El Paso. I was just going to say that.
For those that don't know, that would be Beto's old county. And the other one was Presidio County, which gets closer to the Big Bend, but up in that territory. Every other county on the border in Texas went for Donald Trump.
The southern border.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. We don't care about Oklahoma. But it's, Wichita County. Yeah, we know where they're going. I know where I graduated high school there, so I can say it and I can mean it. There are so many loud messages from this that I think messages are still going to be extrapolated well into the second term of the presidency of Donald Trump. I mean, well into January of next year and maybe longer. When you look at the breakdown of how they voted in all the different areas of this nation and what the turnout was, it's pretty staggering. This kind of comeback is a once-in-a-lifetime, maybe even longer, kind of political comeback in America. In fact, I've never seen it. I don't think we've ever had it historically in nearly 250 years.
I look at this and I just say, to be around at this time in history and be able to cover this as somebody who's now, it's I've been covering politics now for over 42 years. This is into my 36 years as a talk show host, but been responsible for news department, whatever, when I was in management, of station management.
Mm-hmm.
So was always involved in it, behind the scenes more. But I feel privileged to be alive and to be able to be covering this, because this is what we have seen. To me, you and I have always talked about coming into work every day is like being in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, we were in the biggest Super Bowl you could possibly imagine over the last 6 months.
I've been saying it, and I've been saying it, and I still believe it. This was the election of a lifetime in terms of Crossroads. We were going to say more of this insanity and radicalism, or we were going to say enough.
Time to shut it down.
Yep.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by Howes Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
We now have the complete ag export numbers for fiscal year 2024, which ended September 30th. Total export sales, $174.4 billion, a bit better than had been predicted, but USDA economist Bart Kenner says export values were still down 2% from the year before.
We saw a lot of competition globally for our bulk products and decreasing unit values for those products. And so while we exported quite a bit, we received less money for those exports. And so we saw values go down.
Meanwhile, imports of foreign ag products grew by 6%, creating an ag trade deficit of almost $32 billion. So that was 2024. As for 25, Bart Kenner says some analysts are already predicting
more of the same.
But we'll see what USDA analysts think when they release their forecast Thanksgiving week. Gary Crawford for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. You know, one of the things we've talked about is where do the Democrats go now?
Yeah.
You know, where do they go? I mean, they've lost on the issues, and all you're really hearing, the loudest voices are still everybody's a racist, everybody's a sexist, and now they've added Hispanics and blacks to that group. And we've talked about the fact that they've lost abortion now. Abortion isn't an issue, and you were just telling me this is really interesting as you talk about the quote women's rights. I put that in quotes, women's rights, because we don't necessarily believe that we don't believe that abortion is a right of the woman. It's a right of the human being.
Right.
You know, in the womb. And so do most Americans, including most women. That's why they don't believe in abortion till birth.
Exactly.
Because sometime in the womb,
at some point it becomes a life.
Right. To different people at different points, but in the womb at that point. But what interesting thing you're telling me that Barry Weiss was promoting a column in the Free Press where they talk about the, quote, women's rights, that the women's rights that actually drove this was a radical transgender movement.
In fact, it was yesterday Barry Weiss posted a story written by Madeline Kearns there at the Free Press. And Barry writes in her post of this on X, in retrospect, both campaigns ran on women's rights, but it wasn't abortion that mobilized female voters so much as biological males in women's sports. And it's a very good piece, as Madeline Kearns there at the Free Press wrote it and posted it. I can highly recommend the Free Press. In my opinion, worth a subscription price. I don't know how much is behind the paywall because I was on the subscription pretty early. But a lot of great work being done at the Free Press, thanks to Barry Weiss and many others.
Yeah, if you're a conservative, you're not going to agree with everything that they write.
No,
but
you're not.
That was the point of it.
But how they approach it, you can see that it is not the liberal media manipulation approach.
Well, they have sort of the same philosophy that I've read of National Review, which is we're hiring you, write what you want.
Exactly.
And so you have conservatives disagreeing all the time on it, but that's what you want.
Right.
You want a variety of opinions where people that are pretty intelligent throw it out, even if you disagree with it, then they argue it out.
Yep. Always interesting at the Free Press.
Listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen when you choose. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Gary.
All right, here we are. A couple of audio cuts of the week. This was Scott Jennings. As they call it, a reality check to the CNN panel about this week. Here we go.
I think the Democratic Party, you're right, it is hard to lose. Republicans went through this after 2012. And I think about the condition of the Democratic Party. It's been almost fully oriented around Trump for a decade. I mean, look and look at Biden. I mean, his basic campaign promise initially was to rid the country of Trump and Trumpism. And as he leaves office, Trumpism, and the MAGA movement is stronger than ever. So not only are you just dealing with the wreckage of having lost an election, you're dealing with the total failure of the project of the current president as he set it out when he got elected in the first place. I think part of the answers that you all are seeking are more than just tactical.
I agree.
So some of it is, what are we? Who are we?
What do we stand for?
What do we stand for? And, I think both parties go through this after these kinds of losses. But when you look at how Biden is leaving, the very thing he vowed to rid us of is now the ascendant political movement in this country. It's got to be a pretty demoralizing feeling.
In a stronger position.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just you hear that, it's like, that's just unbelievable. And the other audio cut that we wanted to play was, they know. The Democrats know what the problem is. This is Van Jones. Okay, Van Jones, in case people don't know, part of the Obama administration. When he came into the Obama administration, that's what really solidified the socialist label.
Right.
To Obama. Remember when the socialism was the new N-word? Remember that?
Yep.
But here's Van Jones.
If progressives have a politics that says all white people are racist, all men are toxic, and all billionaires are evil, it's kind of hard to keep them on your side. And so we might want to think about, if you're chasing people out of the party, you can't be mad when they leave. And maybe if we had a different politics, we actually said dignity for everybody, everybody's respected, and we need you, more people might stay.
Did he come out against critical race theory? Because critical race theory, that's what critical race theory is about.
Right.
That all whites are racist. Culturally, to the point that it might as well be in their DNA. That's what critical race... I don't remember Van Jones ever coming out about that, ever.
I don't.
With critical race theory.
Yeah.
And the only reason he is they've lost because of it.
Yeah.
And he knows that's what he believes. This is the reason that we lost, is because those are the things that we are promoting. Now, this is some of the interesting stuff, other stuff that we got to make sure we talk about.
Yeah.
Harvard and Princeton professors cancel classes to let students recover from the election.
Here we go. Here we go.
They canceled classes following Trump's victory, and other units within the universities to offer spaces to process the election results. At Harvard University, the courses Sociology 1156, Statistics for Social Sciences, Applied Math 22A, Solving and Optimizing, and the General Education courses, The Ancient Greek Hero and Popular Culture and Modern China, canceled Wednesday class sessions, made attendance optional or extended assignment deadlines, according to the student-run newspaper. My God, what a bunch of wimps.
How many different excuses could you come up with? You talk about, your college years. I heard Brian Regan talk about his college years and how he came up with the idea of becoming a comedian. Because he said in college they called him Rip Van Winkle. He loved to sleep all day. He said, and you get how many class skips? I think he said you get 4 for the entire semester. And so he used all 4 in the first week. And then he saw a comedian, or somebody advertised a comedian going on stage at 8 p.m. He said, wow, you wouldn't have to get up until like 6 p.m. I could sleep till 6. I want to do that for a living. So if you could skip how many classes, I don't know how many they let you skip, but you get a whole, how much time off for the election?
I don't know.
many days?
They cancel classes for the,
Just for the day.
Right.
Well, why just one day? I mean, if you're going to jump into the liberal mindset, wouldn't it be, I'm going to need some time for this, professor?
You ready?
Or administrator? I need to, it's going to be at least a couple of months, and I need to get, by the way, all the credits for my classes, of course.
You ready for this? Oh, in my senior year. Well, no, in my senior year, I skipped most of my classes.
I think okay, that's what I thought you said.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I was going to say,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah, it wasn't mandatory. I only went for the tests every Sunday morning. I with my buddy Nick, who what a great career he had in television. I mean, he ran TV stations, but we just said we were both working full time. I was working 2 jobs, and he was working a job where in sales where he was probably putting in 60, 70 hours a week. So what we did was on Sundays, we didn't have to work. So we'd gather at the library and we'd look at there was microfilm that went with every single course. Boy, yeah, wow. I went to college a while ago.
Microfilm.
Microfilm that we would go in. And
not microfilm, but micro, M-I-C-R-O.
Right. Microfilm, and myself and he and another woman we went to college with, Lisa, we would gather there and we would do all of our week studies for all of our courses.
Wow.
Because we were in most of the same courses right there. And so we just went for the tests. We went for the tests and I passed in my senior year, which then I started thinking to myself, do I need college when I can homeschool myself? But ready for this one now?
All right.
Get ready. An undergraduate student at Harvard told National Review that the first 30 minutes of a section meeting for the class Government 1790 American Foreign Policy were dedicated to origami folding.
What?
You know, the Japanese
folding
of stuff.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Oh, Harvard economics lecturer Maxim Bachenko said in an email that the in-class quiz for his economics intermediate microeconomics would be optional this week and further permitted students to take time off whenever they wanted this week. As we recover. This is a quote. As we recover from the eventful election night and the process of implications of Trump's victory, please know the class will proceed as usual today, except that classroom quizzes will not be for credit. Feel free to take time off if needed.
Now, what if I'm worn out from the horrible campaign of Kamala Harris? I guess if I tell that to the professor, I failed the class, of course.
According to the student newspaper, a physics professor said in an email to physics students and faculty that her office would be a space to process the election.
Okay. Did they say safe space to process the election?
Just a space.
I guess it's safe.
And so then I see this because this was on X.
Okay.
Any advice for what workplaces can do to help people who are devastated by the election? Thanks so much. The first response, hire adults.
I love that.
Now,
that's great.
I will say, I had talked yesterday about the conservative women that after the election, I had talked to 5 or 6 of them. And as I've said, some of the strongest human beings that I know are the conservative women that I know that are very close to me. I mean, these are just incredibly strong women.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know a liberal woman who took the entire next day off as a mental health day.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah.
she posted about walking in the woods, all these, and the beauty of nature and everything else. But she had, and I'm like, oh my God, come on, please.
In 2016, there was a business associate that took essentially the rest of the week, so Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, after Hillary's loss, off work. And this is someone who was a top official in a company. And then told everybody that's why she was taking off. Okay. Wow.
See, I think it was in Rudy that I remember this. No days off.
Look, I remember when David Lee Roth left Van Halen, I tried to call in sick. And I was sick about it. Did I get a day off without pay or with pay? No, I didn't. I didn't.
I was working when Elvis died, and I did not stop working.
I actually remember where I was, sitting in my dad's chair, Del Rio, Texas. Hot August afternoon, and it was Dan Rather that broke in. I was watching Gilligan's Island or something. Elvis Presley's died, and I went, and then back to Gilligan's Island. Huh. Oh, okay. I mean, I was a kid.
Skipper.
11 years old. Wow. Yeah.
And finally,
yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to enjoy today. I know that this is technically this is, the weekend's going to start for me in a couple of minutes, but I have to go through X and see more of the women that are going to withhold sex from men because Trump won. And the ones that are cutting off their hair, as they tell you, they're going to go skinhead celibate.
Okay, so
skinhead celibacy.
Number one, so many flaws. How many are there? Is there a line at the door? Number two, if you cut the hair off, do you need to even announce that you're withholding?
Only if your name
is that going to be necessary? Or
only if your name is Rapunzel.
Or on the other side of that, we got to go with, the short hair fetish, the extremely short hair fetish, which could actually attract more partners.
Well, the lip ring, the nose ring, the tattoos, I was willing to accept, but
yeah,
the skinhead, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I'm sorry, with all that blue hair laying there on the floor, all lifeless and whatnot. Now I'm not in the mood.
I was so entertained yesterday by it. Especially, and all I could think of, I was trying to come up with the definition for the woman that are, is this like sexual narcissism?
Well,
like, I am not going to have sex with any man.
Look, your PETA tattoo on your neck pretty much sent me the message I need to hear and see. So I'm good.
866-90 Red Eye.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So I went to Drudge Report because I hadn't checked it in a couple of weeks. See, and the first thing, liberal women to go on sex strike. First story I see. Liberal women have sworn to go on a sex strike over Donald Trump's election win. Some women are now threatening to punish men for voting for Trump, taking inspiration from a Korean feminist movement that vows to withhold sex from men in order to redefine the gender power balance. Interest in the 4B movement spiked by Kamala Harris's defeat, with women sharing videos of themselves on social media pledging to commit to its 4 no's: no sex, no dating or marriage, and having no children with men for the next 4 years. In one video shared on TikTok, a young woman pledges to go celibate and encourages others to delete dating apps in order to exercise sovereignty over their bodies. Excuse me, I'm yawning.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. That's all I got to say.
Good luck with that.
Hey, good luck with that.
Have fun.
Yeah. Everybody have fun. Everybody Wang Chung tonight. Oh, no, we're not doing that for 4 years.
There's
Never
no
mind.
Wang Chunging.
No, we're not doing any Wang Chung.
No Wang
No Wang Chung tonight. No, not going to happen.
No, you better get
All
back
right.
to some maybe dance hall days or something.
Dance hall days.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.